My name is Christian Basil. Years ago, I had an idea. I got myself a TARDIS. Took it to new places, met a lot of new people, took some great pictures, and talked Doctor Who. From Krypton Radio and the creators of the Hanging With web show, this is the legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Join me on my latest adventures and become part of the legend. Good evening, Whovians. Welcome to another edition of the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil, and welcome. We are back. We took a week off just to recover because it was my birthday weekend, and everybody was saying, Christian, take a break, take off. You need to do something else besides the show. And I think we've been doing this for weeks on end. Melanie can attest to it. She's going like, yeah, you need some time off. So I took a week off for my birthday. So happy birthday to me. No, I'm not going to tell you my age. That's not going to happen. So we're going to continue on. And we are starting a new series. We're going to try and test this out with this very first episode. It's called Best of the Worst Episodes of Doctor Who. Of course, this is probably where we're going to be talking about the worst episode that you can think of Doctor Who. We've always talked about the best monsters, the best villains, the best stories. Now we are going to go diving into the worst episodes. Those episodes that really just didn't make it too well into Doctor Who. And we've got an all-star cast for you tonight. Some people from around the world we're bringing you tonight here at the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Again, my name is Christian Basil. I want to welcome you and thank you all. First of all, let's go to the UK. And we're going to bring in our very first special guest. This is the Spacebook man himself. You can check him out over the YouTube channel at Spacebook at the youtube.com/thespacebook. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dan Hadley. How you doing there, Dan? Welcome. Thank you. You're up late.
I am up late, yeah. We'll have words later on. You almost got my link right as well. But yeah, I'm sure things can only get better, everybody. Right. They can only get better. Hold tight. There's going to be some appalling picks coming up, I'm certain. Great ones from me. Can't speak for the rest.
Okay, no problem there. Again, you can check him out on the Facebook page for Type 40. You can type that in and about there. And on the YouTube channel, The Spacebook. And he is closing in. We need your help. He's closing in onto 1,000 Facebook subscribers. That's going to get him into the monetary zone. And I can't wait for you to hit that number, dude. And trust me, you're going to be loving making like $50 a year.
He means YouTube subscribers, everybody. He means YouTube. Hey, we know what he means. Thanks, Christian.
On the YouTube channel, on the Facebook, wherever. I'm trying to help you out, Dan. I'm just not really good at it.
It's me that's up late. I've got an excuse.
I know. I just got off work, so that's the reason why. Don't forget, go ahead into the chats because Melanie's back and she's going to be taking care of your chats because I'm getting off work right now and going into the podcast. Speaking of going into the podcast, I want to introduce our friend from down under. This is Mr. Joseph McGreal Bateman. How you doing there, Joseph?
Hey, g'day all. It's early morning for me, so I haven't even been to work yet. I got up and all of that kind of stuff. I know it's late over there in the UK, but when I do my show, it's really, really early in the morning.
Yes.
And I've noticed, although I couldn't change my name on the actual screen, you've got it wrong there. It's actually Bait Up. It's not Bateman. Bait Up.
Wait a minute.
There we go. Okay. Gee whizzy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, hang on. Let me correct this right now. Hang on.
I know things are upside down here, but that's so the best and the worst of episodes. This is going to be an interesting one. It could be controversial. Ooh,
absolutely, it could be very controversial. There you go. I hope you're happy. I don't even know if I spelled her name right.
You didn't even spell that. You didn't even spell that right.
Can I just say, fair suck of the Sav, mate?
So let me get it right so everybody can see for it. I'm going to type it in properly.
Going well, isn't it? Going well.
There we go. Joseph McGreal Bait Up. There we go.
For those who don't know what fair suck of the Sav means, it means you got to be kidding me.
So we got
fair suck of the Sav.
Yeah, fair suck of the Sav.
I know exactly what that means. It's disgusting. But you should be ashamed of yourself. That's a great... That's it. You think I don't know? You're not speaking to an American now, my friend. We are cousins, you and I, with the Australians. I know exactly what that means.
No. We're no cousins. You know that. We're the convicts.
Convicts and the jailers. I haven't forgotten. We know the score. That's a fantastic head of hair you've got there, though, my friend, I must say.
Thank you.
Now, just quickly, Joseph, tell everybody about the no-name trivia and the thing that you had me come up at 3 a.m. to do.
Oh, stop complaining. Stop complaining. You got a lordship out of it. So what are you talking about?
I am a lord of what, 1 foot?
one square foot, yep, in Glencoe.
Yes.
Yep. So you can't complain about getting up at 3 a.m. No Name Trivia Show is a show that is not about the trivia. It's more about our special guests that we've had. We've had some great guests on. We've had Sylvester McCoy on. This is the Doctor Who side. We've had my co-host Simon Fisher-Becker. Fraser Hines has been on. Colin Spall. We've had some great Doctor Who people. I've had magicians on from all over the world. Sean Farquhar from Canada, and there's a lot more as well. We've had the Jive Aces from Britain's Got Talent. But yeah, it's a show every Monday night here in Australia, which is 11 a.m. UK time on Monday morning, 3 a.m. Christian side. And the other side of that is 6 a.m. the other side of America. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. Join us. No Name Trivia Show.
Thanks, Joseph. Speaking of joining us, she's back, ladies and gentlemen. She's taking care of your chats today. This is the lovely Melanie Dean at Pieces of Melee over on the Instagram. How you doing there, Melanie? Thank you.
I'm doing well. Back. Oh my God, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad that we had a little bit of a rest this last weekend. I got to at least be in the chats for the couple episodes I wasn't on. But yeah, here we go again.
There we go. And always don't please, right now, if you haven't had a chance, or if you're on the Facebook page, please subscribe right now to youtube.com/Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. We're up to...
I don't know. I don't know. Are we at 63? Are we on Facebook? Or are we talking about
we're at 63 on Facebook, but we're at 2290 on our YouTube channel. So if 10 of you just subscribe right now, just get us over to that 23 hump. That would be great. And as Melanie mentioned, we had just crossed over 63,000 Whovian followers.
I don't know.
And growing.
Why do you people like us?
Why
do you like this?
They like that little blue box that I have.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. They're like,
it's like the Mickey Mouse. It's like everybody wants the box.
They love people like to love on Doctor Who, and we like to squabble about Doctor Who, but it always comes down to coming up with the little critiques here and there. And luckily, at least with our show, with Christian at the helm, our show's always been very, very open and honest on everyone has an opinion. Mm-hmm. Go for it. But do not be venomous. Do not be gatekeeping or any of that other kind of stuff or that kind of nonsense. Because we're not here for that.
That box needs to come down to Australia.
Can I come with it?
I've just got to see what my daughter wants. Just 1 second.
That's right. Can we get to see your daughter? Did she get to make an appearance?
Yeah. You can wave. There she is.
Oh, hello. What's your name, darling? What's your name?
They're asking, what is your name?
Audrey.
Oh,
nice
Hello, Audrey.
Audrey. I bet you didn't know you were going to be on camera tonight.
What was that?
I'm not famous here.
No, you're not famous on this one.
Oh.
We just made you famous.
But she is a trendsetter because I never thought about putting my sunglasses on my belt loop.
What is with these headphones?
Oh my Lord. Okay, everybody, we're going to start a GoFundMe so that Joe has...
Just put them on.
You still can't hear us, can she? Oh, now she can hear us. Oh, now we can stop talking about her.
How
are you doing?
One, I apologize about the headsets that you have to now put on because, we need to start GoFundMe on that. Two, you are now a trendsetter because I saw how you have your sunglasses hooked into the belt loop of your pants. And I'm like, now that's a smart idea.
All right, everybody in the chats right now.
That's
just
the stuff I noticed.
Give Audrey some love. Say hello right now. Say hello to her in the chats. There we go. How you doing, Audrey? How you doing?
I'm good. You're American. That's weird.
Oh my lord! Well, your
Hang on,
dad-
tell them about the
break the
time you
news
went
to
to the Outback Steakhouse.
Oh.
God, right?
Don't hold this against us.
Christian, do you want to break the news to the poor girl that there's a British guy here as well?
Yeah, there's a British guy.
British
And all
are
the way
fine.
from the UK.
Oh, thank you, Audrey.
You're welcome. My
As you were.
granny's British.
It's getting a little caffeine to stay awake for us there.
Mm.
Oh, you getting some love there, Audrey. Everybody sing hello. Hello.
Everyone's
Audrey.
spelling it differently
Everyone's
too.
spelling it wrong, but it's okay.
We have everything.
I'm gonna blame my mum and dad for naming me a name that Americans can't spell.
I've known the
I
bloke
went
for
to-
4 years, never spells my name right, never gets anything about me right, but
What?
I went to an American Starbucks and they spelt it O-R-D-I. That was
What?
oh.
No, yeah. Starbucks
Poor
just likes to
girl.
mess
I
with
am
people.
so sorry.
Yeah. I think they did
Sounds
it on
like a-
purpose.
That sounds like a
So I
brand of
could take a photo.
deodorant, doesn't it?
Jeez, wow. You just, man, you're not helping. us.
Audrey, yeah.
I think
No,
Is that-
no.
is that the correct
Audrey's
spelling?
much prettier. You stick with Audrey. Don't
Thank
change
you.
it.
I will. All right, I'll give you back to Dad. Right.
Goodbye.
Very wise.
Farewell.
Very wise girl. Very wise girl.
And she's getting out. She's hightailing it out of there now.
Running.
Ah!
Forget to
Oh
say
dear.
Ah!
Thank you. Go fund Joseph.
Oh yes. You can go to my
Thank you.
you can go to my Indiegogo account. Get Joe some new headphones.
Thank you, Cyborg T100.
Thank you so much there, Mark. Everybody,
We'll
you
forward
can
those to
actually
him.
send us super thanks, and if you, super chats, and then afterwards, if you're watching this out after the show, you can give super thanks. Help us contribute to the show there. Everybody's still saying hi to Audrey even after the effect.
I still love this.
I
I love this so much.
I think I'm
Cyborg T,
still.
you've made my day.
Might have to
I
have
think
a
I'm
few more
still on the
hours.
screen here. No one else is on the screen. I'm the only one.
What
I know,
is
we're gonna
what
get to
is a super thanks, everybody? It sounds like the kind of thing you get at certain places if you go to Amsterdam.
Oh no! Super
No.
thanks is
That's a tip.
no. I just found out, and you're going to find out very soon when you hit 1,000. A super chat is when they contribute money
I know what a
during
I
the
know
show.
what a super chat is, but a super thanks,
Super
that sounds a
thanks
little
is-
bit X-rated.
Yes, it is.
But
There's more
Yes,
favors for
I'll
that.
let it go with that.
Could just
super
it
thanks.
could just be my dirty mind. Yeah, as you were.
No, you're fine. Super thanks is when they're watching the show after it premiered, so if they're watching it in rerun or
Oh,
and if
okay.
they want to contribute after the show's over, it becomes a super thanks.
So we'll
So-
still take your money.
We'll still
Consider
take your
myself
money.
informed.
Somebody's got to
yeah.
make this thing happen.
So it's not as naughty as I hoped, but it's still quite
No.
useful.
Well, in that case, if anyone wants to super thank, I will thank you.
Get on the YouTube channel there. Folks, we're going to be right back. We're going to get commercial break. When we return, we're going to start our best of the worst episodes with Doctor Who. When we return, please continue to stay logged on, tuned in, and become part of the legend. Here we go.
We are a touring acoustic duo crashing kitchens around the country. We go from house to house every Friday night and we create music, we create food, a good time, we stream it live and we do it for free. So now we're just really kind of like trying to develop it and build a community group that people believe in, then they'll help us. So we played from our rehearsal room, we played from the bathroom, thankfully that didn't catch on.
I probably played guitar in my room, not for anyone, in front of anyone, nobody heard, for probably about 10 years.
And then one Friday night, we played from the kitchen. It's the main place people want to be. It's where the food is, it's where the drink is, it's where the best lighting is. You can go to any party and I guarantee you, the kitchen is going to be popping.
Our ultimate goal, I think, would be to crash kitchens every Friday all around the world.
Hello, I'm John Nathan Turner.
And I'm Janet Fielding. No, that's not right. Let's start again. Hello, I'm John Nathan Turner.
And I'm Janet Fielding.
We're here in Channel 17 studios for... What are we here for?
To make sure that they do their membership pledge.
How'd they do that?
It's very easy. All they have to do is pick up the phone, dial 716-881-4800.
And when do they do that, then?
Well, any time, but now, preferably.
Good. Say goodnight, Janet.
Good night, Janet.
Good night, Janet. Welcome to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil. Tonight, for those of you just joining us, we are talking about the best of the worst episodes that Doctor Who has ever had. I don't even know if that phone number is still working. I'll just call it up and contribute. So
go ahead and call Christian. Go see
you
what
got it. So everybody, welcome back. I got the lovely Melanie Dean, who's going to be taking your chats tonight. Don't forget to get your chats on and say hi to Audrey. You haven't already. Martin, thank you so much. Thank you. $2, £2 from our friends in the UK. So we're getting it. See, Dan, once you get 1,000, then you're going to start rolling in this stuff there. Thank you so much. Yeah, we are very well. Thank you. And I have the lovely Joseph from the No Name Trivia. Check him out. He's our favorite Aussie with Simon Fisher Becker as his co-host. And many superstars are going to. And don't forget, if you can do me a favor, Joseph, send me the link and we'll put it onto the chat so everybody can pick up on it. And do the same for me, Dan. When you get a chance, just put it in the chat and we'll make sure we get it out there. So tonight we have brought back the famous Wheel of Names. Now, if you notice, there's 2 extra names that are on here, and I apologize they were not able to show up. We have, let me introduce those folks. You can see on the far left, if you're watching, Patty Hawkins from our friends at GalaxyCon. If you've ever seen any of the GalaxyCon, for 90% of the people who are hosted, they go through Patty Hawkins. He is the GalaxyCon online guru, and he's interviewed many people such as William Shatner, Henry Winkler, you name it. He's practically the whole cast of the Next Generation he's had on. And the other person we're missing is Gene Turnbow from sci-fi.radio, who's one of the producers here at The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Neither one of them can be here, but we have put their choices... Nottingham here. There you go. And we have put their choices.
Not far from me. Sorry. Yes, that Mark. I'm in. Is he talking to me, Mark? There.
Yes, he is.
I'm Mark. I'm Birmingham's King of the Geeks. Officially.
It's an official title. You heard him.
So if their names do come up, we're going to explain to them. And guys, if while you're in the chats, however you feel about it, also any episodes that you may want to say that weren't so great in Doctor Who. Please let us know. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and spin that wheel. Stand by, please. And here goes the first spin. Dan, I think you need a wheel too.
As we all, I now have a headache. I want to fall over.
Bitch. There it goes. This is going to slide in.
Oh,
Dan, you are going up first. Yes. Thank you, Dan.
Okay.
Thank goodness for that. I didn't want to go first.
I was like, no.
Without further ado, Dan, your first pick. Which was the best of the worst for you out there for Doctor Who?
First pick. How many do I get?
You get one, silly. And you already gave me the one. That's all I got pictures for. So.
I could go all night.
I know you could. You and I could.
Yeah, all the legends are true. But yeah, I can also pick worst episodes all night. But I'm going to start with the worst episode. You just want me to tell you what I think the worst episode of Doctor Who is now?
Absolutely. I hope so, because I got the pictures for it.
Well, for years, up until 4 years ago, Silver Nemesis had got this pretty much in the bag. But
really? Really?
We since the dawning of Chris Chibnall and the coming of Jodie Whittaker, we are now in a place where there is an absolute avalanche of riches to choose from. Some of the worst things that have ever been broadcast on British television, let alone in Doctor Who, have paraded across the screen, courtesy of those two Muppets. And so I really didn't know which one to choose. There was so many. Should I go for the absolutely heinous, the Timeless Children, the embarrassing Orphan 55, the sleep-inducing It Takes You Away, the plain insulting to the intelligence of Praxius, or what's that one with the geezer sticks his finger up your nose? The bar kept getting the bar kept getting lower and lower and lower. Every time you think that they'd hit a new low, next week's was even worse. And so yes, I think I have to go. As bad as the Timeless Children is, that is a heinous piece of television, a huge insult to the legacy of Doctor Who, appalling script writing and terrible acting. But astonishingly, even more objectively,
really?
They followed it this Easter with the Legend of the Sea Devils, which was like a ticker tape parade of all the above. So everything was there, really. Astounding incompetence, appalling acting, massive complacency, and destructive inexperience. And they even managed to completely ruin a vintage Doctor Who monster into the bargain too. So yes, it was extraordinarily bad. This was the last episode of Screen Doctor Who before whatever we're getting, obviously, in the middle of October. The last produced properly by Chris Chibnall before he was sacked, everybody. I know the people don't talk about that. Chris Chibnall was sacked, make no mistake about that. So before they took him off the job, this was the last thing that was produced on his watch, and it shows. It's horrendous. If this was any other show, let's be honest, it looks so knackered that... Well, if it was a horse, for example, it would be led out to the back of the stables and put down at this point. On top of all that, they only had the cheek to broadcast this on my birthday, completely ruined my birthday. And so, reluctantly, considering that the Timeless Children is in that mix, I have to say that roundly, holistically speaking, Legend of the Sea Devils has it beaten. It is absolutely horrendous.
Wow.
Now I have to say this.
Is that covering?
I got to give them a little credit. I do like the upgrade of the Sea Devils. I kind of do like the outfit. I mean, I do like what they did with the Sea Devils. However, I was taken aback that the Sea Devils coming out. Remember in the Pertwee episode,
Christian, it's when they start flying. It's when they start flying through the air for no reason at all. It baffles me.
Yeah, that was the thing I was about to say. They were lunking out of the water coming in the Pertwee episode, and here they were, where they're flying over ships. I'm just like, holy cow, when did they get the upgrade?
And bear in mind that I did also weigh up It Takes You Away, which was so appallingly sexist and badly made. And everything that Ed Heim writes is terrible. Even those, but I think this, amazingly, was even worse. I'll say this for some of the Chibnall episodes, some of the production values, particularly in Series 11, were still quite high. But by this point, apart from the kind of nice redesign of the Sea Devils there, from the surface, it's all gone. It looks like it's being made on sets left over from Jack and Ori in the 1970s. So they're clearly out of money, out of ideas, out of energy, and out of time. Bye-bye, Chibnall. Bye-bye, Jodie.
The thing was, and Melanie, I think we discussed this. It felt like, I think we agreed on this. It felt like the story was unfinished, or it felt like it needed like 2 or 3.
It felt like everything was unfinished.
Special
effects, story, actors weren't coached through their roles.
No.
Poor Mandeep Gill left a free fall through that bloody awful scene on the beach. Absolutely horrendous, all of it. Standards so low.
Well, Joseph,
no.
Go ahead. What did you like about it?
Look, none of this is new, really. This whole these episodes are really awful.
It's true though, Joe. Isn't it?
No, I absolutely.
Yes, it is, you liar.
I absolutely loved Jodie Whittaker's time. I love every episode.
I better mute my mic.
What you gotta realize is that, and it's interesting. it's a kid show. Doctor Who is actually a kid show.
No, it isn't. It's a family show, Joseph. It's completely different.
No, okay, it's a family show, but it's based around kids, and
No, it isn't.
absolutely.
Dan, let Joseph talk here.
Yes, it is.
Why isn't it produced by the Children's Department of the BBC then, Joseph?
I don't know. Gee whizzy.
Dan! I've already started an international war here.
Yeah, you have. Look, I absolutely loved all of Jodie's episodes. I thought it was great that finally Patrick Troughton actually said that what's to stop a female taking over as
no,
Doctor
he
Who?
didn't.
Yes, he did. I can actually
no,
find
he didn't, Joseph.
Would you like me to prove that?
No, he didn't. He joked about it on an episode of Nationwide.
He didn't joke.
It wasn't a serious suggestion.
Joseph, if you like the Sea Devils, go ahead. What was it about the Sea Devils that you did like? Let's see if we can.
I thought it was nice, and it was quite epic.
Okay.
It was epically filmed. Like it actually looked real. It was a great story. It was great seeing
compared to what, Joseph?
Compared to all of them. All of them.
Compared to let's think back to epics in Doctor Who history then. Season finales from seasons. Pick any Russell T Davies season, any Stephen Moffat season. Tell me which one. How it's more epic than Heaven Sent and Hellbent. How it's more epic than The Parting of the Ways and Bad Wolf.
It's
more
just
epic than those.
The filming of it, the filming of it looks absolutely fantastic. You go back.
Joseph is shot here. It's
absolutely ridiculous.
Actually, put Dan back on the screen because I can only see me. Put Dan on.
This director has got 0 credits before, and it shows. The direction is as flat as I can't take this seriously. Sorry.
I loved it. Loved it.
Goodness
me.
Okay, if you loved it, that's fine. I meant Dan.
I mean, you look back to Genesis of the Daleks. Look how badly that is filmed. But
what?
yes, it is good. Oh, it is badly filmed.
Oh God.
Well, now you can get a word edgewise.
But having said that, I love Genesis.
Yeah, this is my choice, isn't it? I thought this is my choice. I can say what I like. I can fight my corner, can't I?
You're fighting. You muted yourself.
He's going to hate mine then. He's going to
hate fight. So I won't swear. You can't swear on this show, can you? Sorry.
Yeah, YouTube's a little bit.
I'll fight my corner all night, my friend.
In the States. All right. Well, that was.
If anybody picks an episode that's not a Jodie Whittaker episode, there's going to be blood on the walls.
I'm going to go ahead and spin the wheel. Let's get out of this for a moment there. Let's get and see who's next. And
enough's enough after 4 years.
Here we go. And it's Melanie. Me. It looks like you're going to slide in. And yeah, Melanie's up next. Let's go ahead. I'm going to hide that. And Melanie, you're up. What was your choice for? And then we're going to. Oh, sorry.
That was not.
It's the other button. It's the other button. Sorry.
Oh my God.
I'm running on Dan time, which is just Keats coffee. Go for it. What is the episode that you thought was not so good?
So at first, so again, we're doing best of the worst, and I know we've done like other episodes where we've come through and said, which episodes we didn't like, which ones are not so great, all that kind of fun stuff. And I know, we've had many ones where we're just talking about the monsters themselves, just absolutely horrific ones. And right. I've always, my knee-jerk reaction, and even when we were saying that this was going to be the episode title for this week, was Love and Monsters. I absolutely did not like Love and Monsters. I didn't like Fear Her, but mostly Love and Monsters. Orphan 55 was another one that was just absolutely terrible. The Arachnids one where we had Proto Trump running around, that one I didn't like, but that wasn't the one. I wanted to be different. I wanted to be different for this one. So here we go. I did some soul searching, and I thought, when was it that I started to despise Clara? Because I loved her. I thought she was great with 11. Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, well, let's see. Worst of the worst. I'm going with Darkwater. because this is when we started having a scene where I was just like bewildered for a character going, I understand that we've lost, she's lost Danny, and that the episode previously that now has just like left my brain of what it was, of when, spoiler alert, Danny gets hit by a car. And here she's running around trying to hide the life that she has with the doctor, like he's some, like he's cheat, like she's got two different boyfriends, and she's cheating on one another. She has sticky notes all over the place so that she makes sure that when she's talking to Danny, that her story's on cue. And then she's talking to him, and she's gonna come clean, and then all of a sudden, and he got hit by a car and he's gone. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's an interesting way of killing off characters. We've, okay, that's happened before. Moffat's done that before in Who, but this is also kind of where I started realizing that Moffat was he needed the show taken away from him, because then we go, okay, well, Danny's not dead. I'm like, okay, well, this is different. And Clara's grieving. Okay, so she tries to use a patch on the doctor to convince him that she's going to go back in time and save Danny. It was the moment where I was just like, what the heck am I watching? I do not understand what the heck's going on. What happened to this character? And that was the pivotal moment for me of going, what the I'm done with Clara. And it just kept going and going and going and going. That scene was like this. So this episode, there was parts of it that I will say I like. I like the fact that, hey, this is the one where we learned who Missy was. And because she didn't want to call herself Master anymore. And I thought, okay, the skeleton's inside the water. Well, I don't understand it. But, I couldn't figure it out. And then when it started kind of doing the little unveiling of the little water trick of the water coming down, almost a little bit of I would say almost a Pepper's Ghost kind of thing, where you're reflecting one thing and you're something else on the other side. Right. Going, oh, we're getting Cybermen. All right, that was pretty badass. But my God, I really did not like Clara in this. And then from this point on, I was just done with her. And that's why I'm picking Dark Water. I'm just picking that one scene. I'm picking that to be my little thing I'm putting up on a pedestal to say.
One scene tanks a whole episode for
tank the whole damn thing.
Well, I got to agree. This scene right here.
Tank the character, tank her arc, tank everything.
Understand. First of all, throughout that season, I didn't understand her love for Danny Pink. It just didn't show. There just wasn't anything connecting to get to that point where she was willing to do this.
It's because it was underdeveloped, Christian. That whole plot line was underdeveloped.
I know, but it got worse. Instead of appreciating what she was going to do, it made me angry at her, especially when she would do this to her best friend. Why would she basically threaten? By the way, I put a caption that said Hell Hydra at one point on that particular one. But it's just, this is when I started to dislike Clara. I was just like, what the heck is wrong with you? I'm like, this is your best friend. And not only that, for me, I have a theory. Oh, KEVO, I have a theory that Clara stopped being a real person after Name of the Doctor, and then went on in a version made to be the Doctor's companion. It accounts for all her weird conflicting behavior. See, I think Claire was great with 11. I think she was a companion of 11. She did not shoehorn in too well with 12. It started going downhill over and over. Claire, I'm not your boyfriend. But some of the moments in Darkwater, one of my favorite moments is seeing, and it shows how beautiful Capaldi pulled off 12 and his acting, was the scene where she's crying and go to hell is the scene. Go to hell. Mm-hmm. And she's starting to cry and like, fair enough. She starts walking out of the TARDIS, and then he says, where are you going? It's just like, and she goes, I thought you told me to go to hell. And goes, no, we're going to hell. Even everything, he still had love for her, even betrayal.
That's Christian, that is pathos. Some of those scenes, I can see why Melanie feels the way that she does. But I will point that was deliberate. That was Stephen Moffat really trying to develop that character, and he was trying to make you dislike her, to second guess her, and wonder what she had become, and who the Doctor had become, and whether this had become a kind of codependent relationship. That was the texture to the writing there, and it's not that those sort of levels. Not everybody gets it, or it's simply not to everybody's tastes. And I do sympathise with that, and I think at some points it works better than others. And I have problems with that episode too. I think they made some I think you made some strange choices throughout that two-parter, even though I thought it was quite epic, Joseph.
I do.
They did
I
make a lot
think
of
you're right, Kevo.
they did make a lot of mistakes in that. But I think when they put people when they kind of turn a character that we've previously liked inside out like that, I think it's quite reasonable that Melanie or anybody else would react in the way that they would. I think it's a shame that it's sort of tanked the episode for you, but I also don't revisit that story very often for other reasons, which are just as subjective. So I can't really throw stones at you for that.
Well, at that point, it take the episode, and then from that point on, just take the entire series for me. I did not like that. I was extremely happy to see Bill and Nardole and the Doctor getting a little bit better writing when they started showing up.
And I think a better relationship with
characters.
Nardole. I think if I've argued, if we started with Nardole and 12, I think you would have seen, we'll probably still be talking about Capaldi's run, because those two went back to a buddy system that was seen in both Donna and Ten and Troughton and Jamie's, when you had that buddy thing. Joseph, what do you think of that choice? Dark Water, what do you come away?
Again, I love all of the new series from when it first started back in 2005 right through. It's just been a wonderful, refreshing thing. I love Clara. I'm probably really controversial on that, because I love every single episode that's been in the New Who.
Joseph, there's nothing wrong with it. If you love New Who, like a friend of mine, her name is Faith. She cosplays 13. I'm not too crazy about Chibnall's run, but she loves 13. I'm never going to storm on that parade. That's her thing. If she wants it, she loves it. It's just like, if you like it, no, I know. But who am I to storm on her parade? If that's what makes her happy, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to tell you why I didn't like the Chibnall run. And there were things that I didn't relate to and weren't happy with. And I could say that for most doctors, but like I said, if you liked it, you liked it. And then disagree. They disrespected the whole previous Who lore.
Well, no, I don't see that. I don't see that anything's been disrespected. The lore. Okay. Let's go back to John Pertwee and Patrick Troughton. I believe the first time Time Lords were even mentioned was possibly the War Games. I'm not sure if they actually mentioned that they were a race of Time Lords, and that was the last episode of Patrick Troughton, or it could have actually been somewhere just at the beginning of John Pertwee. So the lore had been rewritten there, right through Old Who. The lore has been written. So when does canon become,
Are we back on to? Is this connected with Dark Water? Is this something else? I'm a bit lost.
No, that was actually a comment.
He's addressing another comment down there.
Yeah.
So this is back to the other stuff. Do you want me to tell him why he's wrong now, or should
actually, hold. No, don't tell him. Please hold that thought. We're going to commercial break. When we return, I know you too. When we return,
okay.
I gotta pay bills, guys. When we return, we're going to continue.
Wrong. See you after the break.
We hit the wrong button
again.
Uh-oh.
Come on, Chris.
Hi, my name is Jamie Ingle, critically acclaimed author of The Toilet Papers, Places to Go While You Go, a short story collection suited to match your bathroom needs. Only have to go a little? No problem. I've got stories under 1,000 words for you. Far from poopin'? I've got you covered, with stories over 5,000 words to keep you occupied, while your latrine stays occupied. And that's not all. The Toilet Papers is endorsed by the fine folks from Squatty Potty, the stool for better stools. But don't take my word for it. See what Dookie the Squatty Potty unicorn has to say on YouTube. You won't be disappointed. Well, I've got to go, but you can grab your copy of The Toilet Papers on Amazon in ebook or print, or get an autographed copy from me at therightangle.com. And don't worry, I promise I'll wash my hands first. The Toilet Papers. You might just stay in the bathroom longer than you need to.
The massive audio Doctor Who Bad Wolf Bluetooth TARDIS speaker. That's all I gotta say, one word. Wow, it looks like it just jumped right off the screen. Here it is in all its Bad Wolf glory. Right here is the on-off switch and the up and down volume. Right here's the speaker. The TARDIS stands about 6 inches from the bottom of the TARDIS all the way up to the top where the light is. Look at the detail. Wow.
We're back with the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name's Christian Basil, and as you've seen, don't forget to subscribe to our Facebook page. Let me bring it up on here. The 63,000 Whovian followers and growing. Facebook.com/The Traveling TARDIS. Starting October 1st, we are going to be revisiting our favorite thing of the year, the 31 Days of Halloween. We're going to have pictures, we're going to have videos, we're going to have a lot of stuff coming in, and special episodes of the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS for the Halloween holidays. So stay tuned for that coming up. And now I think we can safely confirm, Melanie, we're going to have our friends from Phantasmagoria doing a special this Halloween season. So definitely want to stay tuned for that. We're here with the lovely Melanie Dean. We're here with the lovely Joseph of the No Name Trivia. Check it out. Christian needs a big red button for the ads.
Yes,
It's just for some reason it just kind of stutters every now and then. And the lovely Dan Hadley from Type 40, also better known as the Spacebook on the YouTube channel. Dan, go ahead real quick, and then I'm going to spin this wheel. Did he freeze? Did he freeze?
Sorry.
Did you have something to say before the commercial?
Yeah, didn't you have something to rebuttal me because you hate me for all my my choices?
I hate you, Joseph. I don't know you, mate. You're
not anymore.
Look, I believe you're talking out your ass, and that was a load of bollocks. And
oh my gosh.
But there is a theme to this show.
I'm gonna spin that wheel while you're talking.
And Christian's the host, so I respect Christian, and I respect your view. I think.
You think?
All right, we've got Mr. Paddy Hawkins.
You're waiting for me right at the end, aren't you? You know, just to make me kind of.
I don't.
The people who aren't here are going to go
wheel.
for you.
I don't control this wheel. But you know what? I can honestly say I'm saving the best for last. And then you go right there. This is the episode I don't remember, and I was actually bringing Paddy on to talk about it some more, and he is not here. But for the chance. I do remember this gentleman from there, the Horns of Nyman. It's his choice of the worst Doctor Who episode ever. If anybody wants to talk about it in the chats, I do remember vaguely the Horns of Nyman. I got to watch it again there. But
whose choice is this again, Christian? Whose was this?
Paddy Hawkins from GalaxyCon.
Oh yeah, Patty. Well, yeah, I mean this was a very popular choice amongst Doctor Who fans and has been for several decades because of obvious reasons. Again, it's very, very cheap. It's quite camp, over the top, and again, it suffers from a similar thing that that my choice suffers from, in that they've run out of money and they've run out of inspiration, and it all feels a little flat and a little dated. Somehow, it feels like it's out of steam. Having said that, there is at least there's. I'll say this for this story. The script is quite good, and the story's got shape, unlike pretty much everything produced under Chris Chibnall. Hardly any of it's got shape at all. This has, and it is kind of a fun watch if you're in the right frame of mind. But I can see it's always been a story that's been considered to be one of the worst, and I think because I haven't got a camp sensibility either, so I don't reach for this very often.
Speaking of camp,
I think this is one of those things. This is one of those stories that's often mentioned. And so I'm not that surprised that somebody picked it. But again, compared to anything produced under Chris Chibnall starring Jodie Whittaker, come on.
Chris Fleming, Trenzalore was so bad. Doctor out of regenerations. All the bad guys knew it and were waiting. Then he gets regeneration reset only to find out they were unlimited. That was
a huge Band-Aid slapped onto the franchise.
I'm not going to say anything because I might mention that in the future of this episode. So without further ado, let me go ahead and pull that wheel back up. We've only got 2 names left, Joseph.
Let's see. What's the over under Joseph not being picked?
Let's see what it's. Let's see
It's a 50-50.
It's a 50-50. Oh no!
Are you kidding me?
We're saving the best for last. We are definitely.
And I'm gonna get retributed for mine now. Especially from Dan.
So there we go. So without further ado, let's go ahead and stop sharing because we're going to get to Joseph. But let's go ahead and get to Gene's pick. Like I said, Joseph, we're saving the best for last here. Gene, you know what, Melanie? I forgot about this, and for good reason. The reason that was picked, Gene picked "Kill the Moon."
Oh, good God, that damn egg!
The egg.
See, I mean, it just began a whole thing where I go.
The egg that began to rewrite 57 years of Doctor Who, and any time that they went on the moon, was it Day of the Moon? The moon was it the Troughton episode? Moon.
That was just them in the writers' room. You know what we should do?
Moonbase.
We should get the spacesuits out. Let's write an episode so we have those spacesuits again. Let's get the money's worth out of those damn suits. They're really well made.
I think in the next episode, Jodie's in the spacesuit, isn't she?
Yes, I think so.
Yes, she will regenerate into David Tennant wearing that spacesuit. You heard it here first, guys.
So this is the episode that took every moon story ever in Doctor Who and just kind of patched over them. That we have these spiders that could be killed by Clorox bleach or whatever the hell they were shooting at, some Windex or something like that. And not only that, the moon is an egg. It just killed me. I just like, okay, when did this all happen? Oh, I had a brain bleach from that one. I'm sorry there, Dan. So Kill the Moon is the selection that Gene Turbo came up with. Suggestions, folks, talks, discussions, total waste of Courtney in and out. Yeah, I think they got. She
loved Courtney. Delightful character.
She was fun. She played with Capaldi pretty well. But thoughts on Kill the Moon, which to me just killed.
Whose choice is this again?
This is Gene Turbo of sci-fi.radio.
Gene. I think this is a very sort of this is such a flat pick, Gene. Come on. Against everything that Jodie Whittaker stars in. You're going to pick Kill the Moon?
Stop.
Really? This episode.
I don't blame him for Kill the Moon.
Now, this episode, I can see why it yanks somebody's chain because of the last 3 or 4 minutes, because it is very, very silly. And but the fact is, the rest of the episode has a lot going for it. I'd say it's a slightly above average episode of Doctor Who, which does nothing particularly stand out well, but does nothing especially badly. It's got some great actors in it, sort of Hermione Norris, a decent supporting cast around Peter Capaldi, who's always good in everything. And
except this episode.
Peter Capaldi is good in
terrible.
Peter Capaldi is good with whatever script they gave him, he gave it a something. He could polish
absolutely
any what that they gave him. Which is again, it means he's an exemplary actor in the height of his powers, really playing the Doctor, and that's what you need. It's the same with the Horns of Nimon to a certain extent, because for all of that story's flaws are there. They're all laid bare for everybody to see, but it's still got Tom Baker in it, and you pretty much give him anything, and he will turn it. He will bring life to it. And with Capaldi, he brings a certain panache to everything that he appears, and I think this is one of them. I understand that particularly if you've got particularly scientific leanings, the conclusion to this story will yank your chain, and of course I see why. But I consider this to be just harmless fluff and a bit of a dull pick, Gene. You could have tried harder, my friend.
This is an episode where I think that's when you really started seeing the call for better writing. Because Justice Chisholm has always been told, I want better writing, I want better writing, I want better writing.
He's a terrible writer. He's a terrible writer. Who wrote Kill the Moon? It was Peter Harness, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
Can I say one thing that's going to shock someone here?
Okay.
I agree with Dan.
Of course you agree. Because I'm right.
For the first
This
time. For the first time
Peter,
tonight.
this is written by Peter. This is written by Peter Harness, who he's a great writer, a very experienced writer, and I think that if anything, I think the direction sort of let it down. Yeah, it's I don't think this is anywhere near as bad as some would have you believe. It's just one of those episodes that I think people didn't like the conclusion because it made Doctor Who look very silly. Doctor Who's quite a silly show. It's a family show, not a kids show.
Well, let me put it this way, Dan. Let me see if I can.
You see, go on, sorry.
He's a worse podcaster than I. We're both bad. I love him. Dan, I'm going to try to see if I can repeat this. First of all, yeah, it does kill every story that Doctor has visited the moon.
I don't think so. I don't think it does.
You don't think so?
No. I don't think it does because it changes. It attaches a certain supernatural almost nature to the moon, and you can either. But it doesn't necessarily interfere with other stories that have involved the moon with Doctor Who. It's described and pitched as part of a natural state of being for it and a natural cycle, which I agree is absolutely ludicrous. But this is a fantasy show; it's not a science fiction show, and whilst I do think this is a big reach for the show, it is only a very, very tiny part of what's generally quite a solid episode. So I really think that Jim was scared to pick a Jodie Whittaker episode in case somebody called him a sexist.
Didn't the egg hatch and leave another
moon? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So it looks exactly the same as the moon always landed on.
But they never said. I don't think they ever said that. But they did say that it was a natural cycle to something in the way that everything has a natural. It does mean that the moon is basically alive, is if not sentient, then certainly in a as part of a cycle of existence, which I don't fully understand. But then again, I haven't watched this for several years. Only Peter Harness understands. He wrote the thing, but I suppose it's a perfectly viable concept. I think I'd have preferred if they'd have done it with the Earth's moon.
If they didn't have a story ever about the moon, this might have worked for me.
They could have sidestepped, and there's no way that Gene would have picked this. If they'd have picked the moon of a planet that's not the Earth, nobody would be throwing their toys out.
Exactly. If this wasn't something,
it's poorly judged.
I'm going to say this, Joseph, you're up. And tell us your pick as to which episode you weren't crazy.
Hold on. How do you know I'm up? Go back.
You need the wheel.
I need the wheel.
We need the wheel.
They took the wheel off.
Come on, bring the wheel up. I need to find out if I am actually next. Jeez. Don't do this to me. You know, everyone else gets a spin of the wheel. Here we go. I've got to make sure.
There we go.
All right, let's see.
Oh no, it's not going to make
it. Does it have to land on his name?
It's got to land on it.
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, look at that.
What's it say? Hang on.
Joseph.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, beautiful.
Unbelievable.
We have such a diva. No wheel, no opinion.
Right.
Well, you've got to remember that I was actually around when they were airing John Pertwee, Tom Baker, Peter Davison. I was around when they were first.
Hello, Joseph.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh yeah. Hello, Joseph.
You got to come on then. Joseph says
he's from Ireland. We've got someone watching from Ireland. We've got someone watching from Australia. Sue Brown Ralph is there somewhere as well. So hello, guys. They're avid watchers of the No Name Trivia Show. But I was around when Tom Baker first appeared in Robot. I was around when Jean Pertwee was playing the Doctor. They were my doctors.
Mm-hmm.
So really, it's the same as what's going on now. People kind of went, "Oh, this is getting really bad," you know, as each Doctor came along, and that happened to me when it started when Peter Davison came in as Doctor, and I'm going, "Oh, this is a real awful kind of thing, this cricket thing." And then when Colin Baker came in, that did it for me. I really started stopping watching Doctor Who, and the episodes that started that were, in fact, Trial of a Time Lord. It just did nothing for me. Yes, Perry was great to look at, but the actual the stories were just awful, and I hated. I could not connect with Colin Baker,
Mm-hmm.
and it was Doctor Who at its worst. And then finally, when Sylvester McCoy came in, that's when it started getting better again. And I was so excited when the movie came out. But this was just ridiculous. It just, the writing was terrible for me. I just could not connect with this Doctor whatsoever. And yeah, that I stopped watching Doctor Who completely for a good while there.
Ouch.
So
okay.
Yeah, so that's what did it for me.
This is what kind of threw me off, this moment right here. I feel so bad for Nicola.
but it's interesting nowadays where they say, the writing for Capaldi, the writing for Jodie Whittaker, it's all terrible. I've heard it all before because it's all happened before.
Context is everything, Joseph. You know that.
Yeah, I know, but I love the New Who because the production values are way better than what it was admittedly, they didn't have the resources they have now back then, but the writing for me with Colin was awful, absolutely awful. So that's my pick.
I'm gonna go on this ledge, especially when it comes to like episodes like Trial of the Time Lord and Vengeance on Varos. And I know this is going to sound a little bit off, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of a different mindset, Joseph. I think the writing was ahead of its time, and the tech could not keep up with what they were trying to do, with what they were going. Especially Vengeance on Varos, and I meant that joke about the golf cart that was chasing them down the corridor.
Well, the concepts and their ambition for the show,
right.
that was ahead of its time. I don't think the writing was. I see entirely what Joseph means.
Right.
But I think that they were kind of reaching for something that was out of their reach fiscally.
And I was an actual teenager watching these episodes.
Me too.
And I hated it. So yeah, it just went downhill, and but Sylvester McCoy actually, although it ended up being the downfall of Doctor Who with Sylvester, he made it better again. I know that's hard.
When Sylvester came in like that, it was new blood, and it's not necessarily. It wasn't. Sylvester had all that energy bottled up that he needed to release. And he knew, I think he knew to direct it generally, but he needed Andrew Cartmel to target him. And because J&T was with the best one in the world, he was very professional to the end, but he was spent, he was tired, he was kind of resentful too. And he was considered a joke at the BBC, and he knew it. And so Andrew Cartmel and McCoy gave the series that.
No, Andrew, Vengeance on
Varos
was wonderful, I think, as far as a concept, the idea. We've even interviewed Jason Connery on this show, and we talked
wonderful
about
actor. Love Jason.
Wonderful actor, yeah. And then you say he really needs to do more stuff out there. I saw the golfing game, which I can't think of the name right now, and I apologize, but it was the story idea and the concept of it. They always have a great concept, but when they executed it with the budget that they had, they didn't have an idea. I love the idea of the Valyard. That what if your future self didn't turn out the way it should have been and wanted to kill you in retrospect. And so I love, and Michael Jason to me, I thought was brilliant as the Valyard. I love, the Big Finish, The Trial of the Valyard, which is the sequel to The Thing. And it's basically Linda Bellingham, Colin Baker, and Michael Jason sparring off each other was just brilliant for me. But yeah, it did kind of get hokey and weird, and it was just because it just really didn't have the budget for me for the concept and the ideas that they were aiming for when they were filming at the beach and all that, and you're watching Colin's hair just go whacked out in millions.
Well, I'd like to, because I've got a lot of time for Trial of a Time Lord, but it's, again, context is everything, and I can't. A great deal of how I feel about this season is quite subjective, and at the end of, and you could throw in all these sort of things. Oh, they were up against it. Eric Saywood left; they'd got no finale. Robert Holmes was dying, for heaven's sake. The man was dying. So all these other, but the thing, the problem is that the average family sat watching this on the sofa doesn't know any of that. They just know they've got to endure this for 14 weeks, and you had to really want to stick with it. It helps that there's four different. It helps that there's 4 different writers to it, and up until I would never have chastised anybody for choosing this, because I think it's because it was such a particular time in the show's history where everything was balanced so precariously, and they were really trying with no support, and they made so many mistakes. They were thrashing about in the water. It was like seeing the death throes of something. Even with that model shot at the start of this season, it was hard to watch and stay the course with. Having said that, I think there's a lot of things that they did pull off creatively very well in this, and some of the cast are excellent and all the rest of it. So I consider it to be quite a 50-50 thing. Again, I think just like the Horns of Naimon, lots of people would pick this in years gone by, Trial of a Time Lord, and I would forgive anybody for choosing this had Chris Chibnall not just made 28 episodes of some of the most diabolical television that's ever been put on screen.
Joseph is going, I'm never coming on the show again.
No, you'll be back. Oh, by the way, coming up very soon on the No Name Trivia Show, I've got to show you this. That's who we've got coming onto the show at some point.
Nabil's great guy. Love Nabil. Great guy.
I think he's coming on around in November at some point.
I hope I got his voice down. I love doing that. Folks, for our friends who are listening to our audio, thank you so much. We are going to be ending the audio version of the show. We're going to continue on with the video version. If you want to see this show continue, you can go to the YouTube or the Facebook page. Don't forget to subscribe at this moment. Again, we're staying on for those of you who are still watching. But make sure that you are subscribing right now. YouTube.com, The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Help us get over to the 2300 hump. Make sure you're also going over to our friend Dan Hanley's page over at the Spacebook. Get him over the 1,000 hump. Get him monetized out there. And check out Joseph on the No Name Trivia. We'll be putting the link into the chat in just a moment there. Actually, Melanie,
I shall be subscribing to the No Name Trivia Show, Joe.
Dan, I'm going to have you as a guest.
I'll listen to that because that'll be awesome.
Everybody else who's still watching, please stay tuned, because we're not only going to finish, we're going to continue on. We're going to give you my pick, and we're going to give you the pick of the Traveling TARDIS team for those of you, those who couldn't be here, and some of those picks are going to be interesting. So please stay tuned. Thank you, everybody who's listening to the audio. Don't forget, you can listen to us anywhere on iHeart. Bring that up. iHeart, sci-fi.radio. Download the app for free. That's not CBS Radio, but you can pull it up and they'll bring you to Oddity or Oddity. I can't remember. Spotify, Spreaker, Podbean, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, you can download and listen to us, including iHeartRadio. And of course, finally get us over that 63,000. We're trying to get to 70,000 by the end of this year, and you guys are making it. Melanie, we're now up to 63,200. 63,200 and just growing like mad. And don't forget, I got to add this, we're now on TikTok. And we got tons of videos out there at TikTok at the Traveling TARDIS. So if you want to see
going where the kids are.
They talk some sense into this guy, for heaven's sake. TikTok?
We're on TikTok, yeah.
Really?
I am.
Hang on. I've got to do this then. It's M to the B, 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 M to the B.
I don't know what that means, but I agree with him.
Anyway, folks, stand by. We're going into the after party. For those of you, again, watching, please stand by. Everybody else, thank you. That's just... Did any of you hear that?
What?
That was lightning. Now that's a great way to end the audio portion. Just freaking him out there. No, I did have that was thunder right outside. I was just like, as soon as I was about to hit the button, it goes.
Yeah, we had some serious lightning storms this past weekend or yesterday.
It's coming my way.
Welcome to
now.
Florida.
So my goodness, the chats are just going completely nuts. Yeah. I mean, they were in like triple digits now. Some of the Andrew, some of Colin's best work is on Big Finish. Yes,
I'd agree with that.
My favorite, Holy Terror, my very first.
All of Colin's best work is on Big Finish. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
I love Colin, and I appreciate what he was. I appreciated what he was doing back then, and it wasn't necessarily his fault that his Doctor alienated people. The way he did it, he undoubtedly did.
Really
Colin
did, yes.
Colin had the very best of intentions, and his take on it, where he wanted to do, it was perfectly viable, but it was a very tumultuous time for the show, and it was just at that time, context is everything, and he was absolutely the wrong man in the wrong role at the wrong time.
Well, here's the
thing.
Even
Big Finish, like some of my favorite, like with Holy Terrors. Like I love him with Frobisher. I'm like, who's Frobisher? Oh, he's a talking penguin. Sounds like he's from like New York, James Cagney kind of 40s New York, and you're just like, what? And you're like, no, it's amazing.
Hey, there it is.
Even his
sorry,
even his exit, Colin Baker's exit, he really got the poos with the studio, and he didn't regenerate himself. It was all Sylvester McCoy pretending he was Colin Baker.
He was in the big suit, and actually, if you do want a Colin Baker regeneration, The Last Adventure on Big Finish. It's a 4-part series. He takes on the Valyard. He deals with his many companions in Big Finish, and it's just a very nice way for Colin to go bye-bye the Sixth Doctor, and it does actually explain that scene where Melanie and the Doctor and what happened in the TARDIS. Somebody explained. I remember I was watching a YouTube video. Somebody actually explained to Colin what happened. He says he never had seen that scene that he regenerates. And somebody jumped up and goes, yeah, you fell off a bike. And he goes, I fell off a bike. He was so pissed off. It's like, I fell off a bike and hit my head. That is like, somebody really hates me in the production company. I'm just like, geez, I'm so sorry, Colin. That's how you had to find out. Well, Chris, something I love this episode. They did prior to the 50th anniversary. Well,
sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Special Colin really had a laugh at his own expense. Yes. Which is, I think, Frobisher was in the comics with Colin's Doctor. Yeah, that's where he started. I think he appeared in the Maltese Penguin, and then the Holy Terror came in. I could be wrong on that. Melanie was the worst companion ever. But I gotta say, Chris, if you can catch Bonnie Langford in Big Finish, totally redeemed, completely redeemed. Davros is a great episode to listen to. It's another. There's one where she's with.
I need to ask Dan a question because it's bugging me.
Sure.
So Jodie, you said Jodie's going to regenerate into David Tennant in the space.
Yeah.
How could that be possible? That would then mean that Jodie's doctor wasn't a doctor.
Well,
or a 0.5.
Couldn't have put it better myself. No, it's not. No.
It's not as easy as it's supposed to be.
No, it's David Tennant isn't. David Tennant isn't playing the 10th Doctor. He's playing the 14th Doctor.
So only for a little bit.
Is that confirmed, Dan? He's playing the 14th Doctor? No.
No.
Get him off my screen.
Well, I'm not going to pretend it isn't, but I'm not going to tell you how I know.
Well, I meant we've heard so many conclusions. He's alternate Doctor. He's different universe. He's
he's the 14th Doctor. Jodie Whittaker will regenerate into David Tennant on October the 16th.
That'll be interesting. Let me go ahead and bring in the team's choices, and then I'm going to go over mine.
You gotta say in this.
Yeah, eventually. I hate you.
Your name wasn't on the wheel.
But I hate
hang on.
People who weren't here had a turn.
Well, you put it on the wheel.
That's correct. You didn't come up on the wheel, Dan. Dan Melanie, I would like to propose the fact that he needs to come up on a wheel.
It's on my show, Joe.
If it's not on the wheel, it doesn't.
I have
count.
that power. Does that help?
Oh,
is that better?
Yeah, she does.
Ah, damn.
Get away from me. Mark Muncie from Erie, Florida, one of our co-hosts, he picked one of the. Sorry, this is probably going to support Dan's theory. Arachnids in the UK.
Oh, such a terrible episode.
Strong choice.
Yeah.
The amount of people I know who stopped watching the show because of that episode, particularly Americans who were incensed by it. By the way, not just what it was saying about the then elected president of your glorious nation, but about the American public too, was it was unforgivable, to be brutally honest. And I think that's why so many Americans turned their backs on it. I think it was the final straw for a lot of people. I can see why.
Well, for me, it had a good concept. It really had a weird bad guy.
Fun concept. I agree with you about that.
It started off as a fun concept and it would have been very good, and they just focused on this. They made a spoof of the guy, and then they mentioned his name. And I've told people, when I watch Doctor Who, I want to get away for that hour-long show. I don't want to know anything else but Doctor Who. And they just saturated it in. And I'm sorry, I'm sure Chris Noth is a good actor, but
he's a strong actor. I really do think so.
Yeah, it was just poorly written.
Subtlety is nice. I don't like, and I don't want to say I don't want to be completely escapism kind of stuff, because a lot of things are said and told and within marketing, within television, with entertainment, that kind of thing. But I will go with, as far as subtlety would have been nicer than. No, I agree with Dan on as at least for an American, I knew people on both sides political spectrum were either angry at the fact that that they didn't like the fact that that their beloved was portrayed as such, and then you had people on the other side going, "Really, this is what we're having? We're going to have this talking again?" So it's like, no, subtlety.
Well, I mean, I've told people this episode should be retitled "Trump and they're spiders." That's all I could think about. Just like. That was their focus. And I said, you know what? The spiders were a great deal. I thought the idea of people, being the cause of why these spiders had mutated, and the Doctor being presented the choice whether to save the spiders or the humans.
Exactly. Now, it's not an original idea, but it's a strong idea.
But that's a Doctor Who flow idea. Of course it is. And I just think they focused on his character way too much, because they would bring him in a couple more times. It's just like, there wasn't even no need for, he could have just been the manager of the hotel and thought nothing. And, Jodie could have been going, oh, okay, it's my decision. I'm the expert here, whoever you are. And it's like, you know what to do with the spiders. And that would have ended his run on to what was going on, and everything would focus on Jodie. And Jodie at the moment would have decided, okay, I got to save spiders or humans. And at that moment, something had to happen, and she decides, well, I'm going to have to save the humans now. And, and how they killed the spiders.
For the dilemma, I get the Doctor would want to try to strike a balance of not having to exterminate any life, but it was just so heavy-handed.
And I would say this, I even kind of came up with an ending, Dan, on this one. After everything that happened, she puts she kills all the spiders and everything. At the very end of the episode, you see behind the building one little baby spider running out.
Maybe,
maybe. And that, I think, would have been,
maybe that one little spider went back to Metabenus 3.
I love that idea. When I heard about Arachnids in the UK, I thought Metabenus 3 was going to be showing up somehow. I thought that, and that would have been a great story too, where the planet that killed her third life is coming back to haunt her in her 13th life. I thought that would have been an interesting take.
Well, this was the episode where I felt that the Whittaker era would probably step up, where it would embrace the fact that Doctor Who is a fun universe, where Whittaker herself would hopefully, at the time, I felt that this was the ideal opportunity for her to assert herself in the role and really start to build out from what had been sketched down for her in the opening two-parter, and it didn't come. And I kept on waiting, and each week it didn't come. But with this story, I think the reason why so many people dislike it so much, on both sides of the Atlantic, is all the things that Melanie described there. And squandered potential is worse than no potential at all. And this could have been a lot of fun. And Tanya Fear's in that, and she was great. But again,
it was too hammy. I mean, we lost focus on what I think the moral of the story was, and the story itself to ham up a character. I don't think that was well, let me go ahead to the next one. Joseph, you might appreciate this one of all things. Mark Muncy comes back and says, "The Two Doctors." And I'll read you the quote that Mark mentioned. Actually, let me read you the quote. He says, "Arachnids in the UK, radiation equals bad characters, bad writing, bad CGI for arachnids in the UK." I agree. But The Two Doctors, he says, is the worst of old Who. Total waste of Troughton by having him brainwashed, so not nearly as fun as we expect. Plus, Colin still having to play the jerk doctor. Again, bad writing. That's coming from our friend Mark Muncy. I still couldn't get over the fact that the second Doctor Jamie knew about the Time Lords before his memory wipe. So when we finally get to War Games, he knows about the Time Lords all of a sudden. So I'm like, how does this all?
Well, this is supposed to be set after the War Games, isn't it? And that's what
Jamie had left before before the War Games.
Yeah.
So
but even so, this is still meant to be set after the War Games. They just never. Robert Holmes just never explains how he did. Terrence Dicks follows it up in a book, and I don't know how much Robert Holmes had thought it through. He was given, like a lot of writers are now. I mean, Russell T Davies does this, where he gives people a list of things that he wants them to include, sort of Agatha Christie and a giant wasp, that kind of thing. And so I don't know how much of this was Holmes writing to order, because obviously this was originally a completely different story. It replaced a totally different story. I think there's nothing wrong with this, that being an episode shorter wouldn't have fixed. It just needs to be a lot tighter. Get the two Doctors together quicker. I think there's lots of atmosphere in it, some great ideas. So I don't really know why anybody would pick this, apart from the fact that it drags on a little bit. I think Colin's quite good in it. Troughton's great in it. And I don't hold with this pick particularly. It's pretty decent all around.
Now, Felicia, who helps us with our social media and our website, she didn't even know the name of the episode, so I'll say it. Fear Her. It came up. She calls the special flower-looking alien. So Fear Her, which was Dr. Budget Light. I guess they were trying to do something without, trying to do one of those things like Midnight, where you don't really need a big budget to have an incredible story and show if you have great acting.
Exactly. It was supposed to be psychological. And it was supposed to be a Roald Dahl kind of thing.
Right.
And it was supposed to be something that all families could relate to, and to chill the children as they would watch this and then go up to bed. This is another story that a lot of people pick, and I can see, in many respects, I can see why they would, because it doesn't deliver on it. Again, it doesn't deliver on its potential, but it's strong in some areas, very weak in others. But again, until Chris Chibnall took the reins, I can see why people would choose it. But it pales. You put it next to it, takes you away. It looks like a frigging masterpiece. So I don't know why anybody would choose that over anything that Chibnall's put out. But there we go.
Now here's an episode that I was very disappointed in, just because there was so much potential.
Is this your choice?
No. My choice is going to be coming up very shortly.
Oh, okay.
You've got 10 minutes, sir.
We got 10 minutes.
Did you call me sir? Did you call me sir?
Sorry, it's a Southern thing. No, actually, I didn't mean it. I did mean it in a very derisive manner, so that does work.
It was Dan. It was written by Mark Gatiss.
Which one's that? Sorry,
hoping a lot for it, and it just bottomed out. Sleep No More. Even that scene right there, that moment, that picture right there, scares the living out of me.
Well, that was meant to be the money shot, wasn't it? That was meant to be the bit that made you all go, ooh, like the end of the Blair Witch Project. That was supposed to be that bit. But yeah.
And it just, I think Capaldi said it best at the end of the episode. None of this makes sense. Any of this makes sense. And there was just like at one point where I love the idea of the Blair Witch, everything is through one camera angle. Sleep No More, terrible. Everything was through one camera angle. I thought that was going to be brilliant because then you would hear a scream off the camera. You would just be following this camera around, but then all of a sudden all the sand grains had become cameras. I'm like, wow, what a MacGuffin that can be. So now we can see everything. 10 minutes, no, it's only 12:30. We can at least go for the third mark. You're weird. I love you, but you're weird. But any take on this particular one? Joseph, what do you think? Sleep No More came up here. Let me see if I can read why Sleep No More.
I actually can't remember. I can't remember, sorry, on that one.
Mackenzie. Yeah, that's the thing. Nobody remembers the plot so easily. It was supposed to have a sequel. Yeah, and and we just wrote The Empress of Mars, which I'm actually glad you did, which was a choice. According to Mackenzie Floor, our author of The Rite of Wands and the Binge Watcher's Guide to Doctor Who, there was a single thing. Sleep No More. There wasn't a single thing I liked about it. I fell asleep the first 2 minutes I attempted to watch it. The monsters are atrocious, the characters are forgettable, and the plot is ridiculous. I'd rather watch, and I actually don't have a picture for this, but I will mention the name that we don't say, Orphan 55, which is another pick that we have.
Oh, come on. No. I won't go quite that far. But Sleep No More was a bad episode. There's no way of dressing that up. I was a little worried. In fact, Series 9 of Doctor Who, I felt that there's a few choices there. A few stories they put up, which I thought were underfed. And this one in particular, what I couldn't understand about it was why they... I'm used to Doctor Who as being a series, particularly under Russell and then Stephen Moffat. It was still a show that would sometimes lean on tropes, sure, but often it would put its own spin on a trope to have make it worthwhile, and most of the time just be very, very inventive. And I was just startled, sobered, in fact, to see this show picking up a trend in entertainment that a lot of people had sort of spent years ago. It seemed, I don't know, it just seemed old-fashioned even then.
But I thought it was just the novelty of the concept that it's a one camera. Everything you're seeing as audience is just from this camera. You can't see anything else.
It's viable.
So it's like a haunted. It's like a haunted house. We're going to show you what we want you to see, but we can't show you what everything's around. But once we start throwing things out there, it's going. You're gonna be impressed. You're gonna be scared, and that's what I thought Sleep No More was. From the title, when I heard about it, I thought that was like monsters that won't let you sleep or something like that or whatnot. But it just didn't pan out right. And the best thing about the whole scene to me was the ending where you saw him, take his hand, rub his eye, and then his eye completely comes off. I thought that was just brilliant. Because that little scene, if you just ran that scene over and over again, that scared the hell out of me.
Exactly. That's the money shot. That's this. It's as I think I've said a few times. This is definitely below par Doctor Who, and I believe this was a low point of the show up until 2017. Out of ideas, and again, Capaldi's good in this. The regulars are good in this. And it's not without a couple of the supporting actors are good. Reece Smith's always good.
Forgettable.
Well, like Andrew said, what was the plot? I don't even remember the plot. I just remember that
again, it was a borrowed plot. It was something we'd seen 101 times before, and we've seen it several times since. And but then again, compare it to stuff like "Can You Hear Me?" It's a masterpiece.
I didn't like.
What was the episode? What was the episode that? It was a Capaldi episode. Tim Shaw. What the monster Tim Shaw?
The woman who
Tim Shaw was the woman.
And the last the battle of that unpronounceable name.
Av Koalos.
I've got to tell you, that when Tim Shaw came on in Australia, that was a complete joke. And I tell you why it's a complete joke. I'll play a little bit of this clip. We used to have a commercial on television, and have you guys heard of Demtel? The steak knives?
No.
Possibly not.
Oh,
Okay.
no, God.
So, can I present the real Tim Shaw?
Hi, I'm Tim Shaw from Demtel. Tell me, have you got a kitchen drawer full of dull knives that need sharpening? I know I have. Well, let me introduce you to Demtel's King's Collection of Knives, a set of stainless steel knives that'll stay sharp forever. They cut perfectly every time, slice effortlessly through veggies, bread and meat, as well as cut through frozen or difficult foods. That handle is tough and designed.
That's Tim Shaw.
So all you're thinking is somebody at some point someone's going to be selling you some steak knives. Although I do want to, I would like a knife where I could just hold it upside down and just start chucking tomatoes at it. I kind of want to do that now in the kitchen, much to the chagrin of my husband.
The thing about Tim Shaw, though, the next day.
Oh, look, I got picked.
The next day, Tim Shaw was put into prevalence again, and we were just joking so much. There were things on Tim Shaw against Tim Shaw in Doctor Who. It was great, wonderful.
Chris Fleming says those ads were on every ad break.
Oh, yes, they were.
Well, let me go ahead, and we're going to wrap up the show. Let me go ahead and give my choice out here
with 2.5 minutes.
With 2.5. Yeah, with 2.5 minutes left.
Did you do the spinning
wheel? Yes, I did. You just missed it.
No, I didn't say Christian.
Yeah, I did. There you go.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Put my name 5 times in there. Okay. So without further ado, Melanie knows I never shut off Doctor Who. She can attest for it. I never turn off Doctor Who. And Dan knows that I've shut off Doctor Who twice during its run. And it was both times in the Chibnall area. One was Orphan 55, where I was really not happy. When they made the discovery, the first thing I thought was Joseph Trowell of a Time Lord, the mysterious planet. Oh, they discovered Ravolox. They discovered Ravolox. That was a plot that was just ripped off from Mysterious Planet when they finally figure out, oh, we're on Earth this whole time. I'm just like, you're on Ravolox. And it was like, oh, God, really? So it didn't make sense to me. But, and of course, I think it was Mark Muncy. Somebody on the chat said, Benny. So,
oh, God.
But that wasn't the episode that I picked. It was much worse than that. As far as a device, as far as a story, as far as the repercussions, as far as bringing Whovians together, this one ripped us all apart. And I'm talking about the Timeless Children. How many times can you blow up Gallifrey in one damn... I thought that blowing up Gallifrey again cheapened the Time War. Because
we're doing it again, y'all.
We're doing it again. It's so easy. It's... it just was such a build-up to nothing. I don't even know why are we having discussion. Because it's my show, KEVO. That's why. I know. If you like it, you like it. Have fun with it. I'm just going to give my little party out here. But it just didn't work for me. You blow up Gallifrey again. Doesn't make sense. The Master's back again. It just wasn't going wherever going. Yeah, I love you too, KEVO. I really am not thrilled with the Doctor having more regenerations beforehand than William Hartnell. I never really liked that plot. I don't.
Well, it's a lot of old crap. That's why. You know, it's a massive insult to the legacy of the show, an insult to the audience's intelligence. Well, and if I had my way, I'd burn every single copy of this thing. And Chris Chibnall, quite frankly, needs. Well, I hope he never picks up a pen again.
To me, this is the thing, and this is what I've said on it. When we first had to review it, I couldn't even give a number. Everybody who was on the panel, I said, I can't even rate this. I can't rate this without blowing up. And I said, I finally can rate this now. I'd give it at best a 1, because I did like Sacha Dhawan for being the Master and his take on that. That was it.
That poor bloke, such a great actor. They put all of the weight of trying to sell this piece of S on that poor bloke.
I really wanted him to be somebody else, because I'm like, why is the Master back? What about the monk, the Ronnie, Chancellor Flavia, Drax? What did they do? Did they fight in the Time War? Where are they? Where's Omega? And all that was kind of thrown out in the Timeless Children. This is the phrase I've been using, Joseph, on this, why I didn't like this. And this is why I feel that it cheapened the Doctor. For me, the Doctor is not the Doctor because he's the chosen one. The Doctor is the Doctor because of the choices he's made. He shouldn't be more special. Andrew Cartmel said it on our show. He is the Lone Ranger. He's the masked man. He's the man that comes in, saves the day, he leaves town, and everybody asks, who was that masked man? Anything beyond what we know about him is called Doctor Who. And that's the whole reason of the title of the show. He's the mystery man. If we go way too far into his description, it kills it. And, the enemy of the whole show were these cyber time lords that did nothing. They were, for best term, what is it that you guys say, Dan? They did F all for nothing. I mean, they're supposed to be the most deadliest thing in the universe, and they just died. Plus, we had this MacGuffin, which was, what was it? The Cybermen had the organic thing that could kill all organic life in the universe. What the hell is a Cyberman doing with this thing? That's something that should be in the arsenal for the Time Lords.
Just look at that. That's the most ridiculous thing that's ever graced the screen.
Well, we also know that the Master in previous incarnations didn't work out well with the Cybermen. Every time he's dealt with the Cybermen's always fail. Darkwater, the one where he gets where Delgado works with the Cybermen, that fails. So I'm just like, why do you keep hanging on with these guys? The unlimited regeneration cheapens 11's speech. And as we were saying there, so if he had unlimited lives, what was with the Breathmen from the Time Lords? What did they give him? That doesn't get explained. Modron undead. The whole episode.
Chris Chibnall doesn't care about any of that.
I know. It's just... it just cheapened Doctor Who for me. Had Jodie Whittaker's Doctor been the first ever Doctor, this might all make sense. It just didn't. And the fact that she could go into the Matrix and blow up the Matrix, which is supposed to be larger and bigger than anything in the universe to store everything possible. And she can just walk in there and just blow it up, and sabotage. It didn't work. It just didn't. There was so much garbage in there. But the Cyber Time Lords, I'm just looking at them, just like, okay, so they can regenerate and they can come back. Now what? Now all that, what was it? That particle that destroys organic life. Why does the Cyberman have it? And if he executes it, he does know he's going to wipe out the cyber race, right? And
well, I'm not interested in seeing the Cybermen again after this, or the Time Lords,
or
the Master. Come to think
also,
of it.
They detonated the particle in that bomb, and it just blew up the Cybermen and Gallifrey. So I'm like, okay, so that's the universe now. It's just proof that there was so much that the writers didn't know what to do with Classic Who. I don't even think they looked back at it and used it as a template. I think they were trying to make it their own. And I understand that when you take something out of a product, but when you have years of classic history that you're developing on, you need to respect it. And people I know, the very few people I know that like this, I'm like, okay, can you explain this? Can you explain that? Can you explain this? They couldn't. Or they tried to explain it,
they're too busy licking windows. This is absolutely heinous piece of television, and it's barely even a script. As I said, poor Sacha Dhawan gets to narrate all this stuff, and seriously, Chris Chibnall deserves to never work again after what he's done to this franchise. It didn't start with this, but this was the pinnacle of it, and it disenfranchised so many people. It chewed up and spat out the legacy, flicked the bird in the face of classic Doctor Who fans deliberately by incorporating the Morbius Doctors, which he knew all about that. He knew all about how people would feel about that, and it makes him a word that I can't say on this show. I will never forget it. I will never forgive it. And Christian, this is the only sensible and respectful choice that anybody could pick. It's unforgivably bad television and terrible.
Well, I mean, as far as the story is concerned, the Cybermen were just not up to speed. I mean, these are supposed to be the
could have been anybody,
and the companions just got through them okay. It's just there were so many things.
I'm surprised the Daleks weren't in there as well.
Dan, how did you pronounce the new Doctor's name?
Ncuti Gatwa, the one that's coming up after from 2024.
Yes, yeah. How did you pronounce his first name?
Ncuti Gatwa.
Ncuti. I thought it was Shitty.
What?
Ncuti.
It's Shooty. Okay, I think Sylvester McCoy called him Shitty. So
no,
yeah.
it's definitely Ncuti. I wouldn't call him that.
It took me a while. I actually, for the first time, was watching other podcasts to see who pronounced it, and people were saying Ncuti. It's spelled Ncuti, and I'm like, it's pronounced Shooty. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, because we had asked people on our
We had to ask people.
We had asked people who were in the UK saying, "Hey, you familiar with him? How do you pronounce his name?"
So for everybody who's joined us, thank you so much for being on. Thank you, Joseph, Dan, and Melanie. Let's go ahead and start off. Dan, where can everybody find you in the WHOniverse? Where's the best place?
In the WHOniverse.
Yes.
In the WHOniverse. You can come and find me. Where first? Well, I am the host and a producer of Type 40, which is a Doctor Who podcast. We're going for about 4.5 years now. You can find us on the Fandom Podcast Network, and we're across. It's very, very late. We're across all the podcatchers. So I'm talking Spotify, Audible, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, all those places. We're absolutely everywhere. And that's where you get the podcast itself. Over on my YouTube channel, the Spacebook, that's where you get the video editions of the Type 40 podcast. You get to see us. You get to see me trip over my words the way I did just a moment ago as I talk with all my friends and our pretty awesome guests. I won't lie about that. On 110 episodes of the show there. Lots more that's been pre-recorded. Lots more to come to take us through the end of the year. As well as all that, you get Type 40 Live, which is our live magazine show every Thursday from 8 p.m. UK time for at least a couple of hours. We get quite riotous, we get raucous, and we have a laugh talking about the week in all things Who. Lots of nostalgia, lots of jokes, and deep discussions and merchandise. It's all there on Type 40 Live every Thursday. Type 40 Live every Thursday at 8 p.m. UK time. Get over there to the Spacebook channel, give us a sub, and throw us a like. Thanks very much, Christian. It's nice to meet you. Well, I've met Melanie before, but nice to be in your company for the last couple of hours, everybody.
No, I appreciate it. And don't forget, he's closing in on 1,000 subscribers on his YouTube. Please help hit it so he can get monetized and earn $2 a year like I am.
Okay, I'll go mad.
Exactly. Don't forget, Joseph, can everybody find you? And Melanie, if you can do me a favor, I put into the PM the link for Joseph's thing, if you can throw that into the chat, because I'm having a hard time pulling up Facebook. Thank you. Joseph, where can people find you?
Lovely. They can find me all over the place, really. I do the No Name Trivia Show every Monday night here in Australia, which is 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. It will be changing times very soon because we get daylight saving. So at the moment, it's 11 a.m. in the UK. It will go back very soon to 9 a.m. in the UK. And Dan, I'm going to have to get you on the show as well. I've had Lord Christian on, so you will probably become Lord Dan. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's only a matter of time.
That's right.
Thank you. Even I couldn't keep a straight face saying that one.
I'm also doing another quiz show early Sunday morning for me, 6 a.m., which is something like 9 p.m. UK time, and that's on Bob Smitherman's Facebook page. Basically, this is my opening credits. I'll show. Actually, I've got to go forward a bit before. There we go. This is my credits. Here we go.
It's that time of the week again, broadcasting from Australia, reaching to the UK, Ireland, France, and the USA. The trivia show that knocks all trivia shows out of the water. It's the No Name Trivia Show. Proudly brought to you by our sponsors Highland Titles, making you a lord or lady. The No Name Trivia Show is also happy to be a member of the Cat Awards. And now...
There we go. That's... part of the credits there.
See, Dan, when you get monetized, you can afford great special effects like that. And if you saw in the promo, you saw Simon Fisher-Becker. He's also co-host for the No Name Trivia Show. So definitely want to check it out there. Paul Campbell, I often attend the no.
Often.
No name trivia show from Ireland, as well as the international quiz. Great there, folks. Melanie, you want to wrap it up, and I'll put my little ending to tonight's thingy.
That was a very long, pause-filled sentence. Anyway, yeah, you can find me on my Instagram page with Pieces of Melee. Right now, I'm trying to get. I don't have any conventions for the rest of the year that I could think of. Oddly enough, but yeah, still, yeah, I don't think I have anything else for the rest of the year. MegaCon kind of sapped me out, and same thing with Tampa Bay Comic Con and all that kind of stuff. For all those people going to Dragon Con next weekend, stay safe, be smart, be very, very cognizant of your surroundings, because lots of people. So keep an eye on your pocketbooks, wallets, and all those other kind of fun things. Also, but if you're not making the trek all the way to Dragon Con,
it's very sensible, Christian. This is very sensible.
Yeah, of course. If you're not going to Dragon Con in Atlanta, boo on you. I'm not going either. But there's a Fanboy Expo in Orlando. There's a few other few other conventions going around. So if you're gonna go do some stuff, let us know.
More money for some headphones. Thank you. Thank you, Cyborg T100 for his super chat.
I'd just like to thank my daughter for that.
There you go. And this is what it looks like, brother, when you get monetized.
The big bucks.
Which Christian, you have got to get Bolty on your show. Bolty's my other co-host, and his phrase every time we have someone from Doctor Who on the show, he says to the guest, "Who do I have to sleep with to get onto Doctor Who?"
I am not having him on the show if he's sleeping. He doesn't have to sleep with me on this show.
He is such a big Doctor Who fan. Yeah, he knows a lot about Doctor Who, so you should get him on.
What's happening in the UK this weekend for Doctor Who fans? Mark, do me a favor. Put the link in the chat. Please put the link in the chat.
Simon's actually at one of those. Simon's at Hooverville.
Yes, I was supposed to be going to Hooverville as well, but I'm double booked. I'm gutted about it because I know the bloke who organises it. So yeah, I promised him I'm going to make it next year.
Okay. And folks, again, don't forget youtube.com, The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Help us to get to 2,300. Like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Please, the more you share, the more you like it. The algorithms hit us really well. Again, 63,000. We're trying to hit 70,000 by the end of this year. And Melanie's actually incorrect because we do have one more convention. We've been invited, Melanie. And
San Diego.
San Diego. We're going to be live at San Diego Who. Now, how are we going to be in California and still being in Florida?
There's this thing called air travel. They use very lighter, heavier than airplanes that will take you. No, I'm kidding. We're going to be
we're going to be remote. We are going to be zooming in, but we're going to be part of the panels during the live event. So you will probably see us out there, and we're going to be doing a special episode for San Diego Who, better known as SD Who. So you will see us, and that is going to be happening in October. The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS will be returning to Halloween Horror Nights starting September 2nd. No real place to find him. He's just going to be walking around. I'll be taking pictures. So again, we're going to be doing the 31 days of Halloween starting in October. May start a little earlier with the Halloween Horror Night pictures. Thank you so much, everybody. Please stay safe. Don't forget to say goodbye because you could be part of the ending coming up. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Melanie, for joining us. Let's go ahead and call it a night. And we'll see you next week with a late episode of The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Stay safe. Oh, thank you, Mark. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.